Have you ever wished you could open a tiny gate and step into your own secret garden? Today I'm taking a plain wooden MDF cutout and turning it into a blooming Easter scene with layered rice paper and dimensional flowers that look like they're growing right off the surface. This one started simple, but wait until you see it come alive. Hello, my crafty friends. I'm Donna from Mason Creations, etc. And welcome to my channel. If you're ready, my friends, let's make a mess. Isn't this the coolest MDF cutout piece? Today it's going to become a beautiful Easter-themed garden. The first thing I'm going to do is paint the background white because I'll be doing some decoupage. I'm using Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Cotton. Make sure you always paint white or a very light off-white wherever you're going to decoupage rice paper or a napkin. White allows the colors of your images to look more vibrant. Dark colors will make your images look dark and muddy. This rice paper is just perfect for the shape of this cutout. It's going to be a little short at the bottom, but I'm going to fix that a little later. I'll show you exactly how to blend paints to match. I'm using Polyvine Heavy Duty Varnish in a satin finish as my decoupage adhesive today. You can use this product as a varnish and an adhesive, which is true for all the Polyvine formulas. The most popular brand of decoupage glue takes 28 days to completely dry and cure. Polyvine dries to the touch in 1 hour and is completely cured in less than a week. It dries crystal clear and will never yellow. All the Polyvine formulas can be used as decoupage adhesive, so feel free to use whichever one you have on hand. I'm using a water brush to remove the printed area at the bottom of the rice paper. A water brush has a cartridge that you fill with water and then brush it on the napkin or rice paper. The water dispenses easily, so this is really convenient. I'm going to smooth out any bubbles or wrinkles using a cut-up piece of a Ziploc bag. I'm misting it with some water and then laying it on my piece. I'm smoothing the image by pushing a paper towel over the plastic, going from the center outward. The plastic will peel up easily because of the water I sprayed on it. And I'll let this dry for a couple hours. I always make the rice paper or napkin a little bit longer than what I'm going to need, so that I can get a nice clean edge. I'm going to do this with a medium grit sandpaper. I'm running the sandpaper over the edge of my piece in a downward motion. Make sure you don't go upward, you'll risk lifting your rice paper or napkin. The sandpaper cuts off the paper, leaving a very clean edge. After sanding, I wiped off all the dust and then gave it another coat of varnish. I'm going to be doing some paint matching at the bottom on that white edge. The edges of the paper need to be sealed with a gloss or satin to prevent the paint from grabbing onto the edges of the paper. Instead of hiding the paper edge, it will accent it. That we don't want. Sealing the edge of the paper is key to flawless paint blending. All the products you're going to see me use today came from decoupagenapkins.com, my wonderful sponsors. Okay, let's do some paint blending. The first thing you want to do is look closely at the paper and determine what colors and shades of colors you'll need. I've chosen 3 colors that work well with this paper. I'm using Tropic Bay Blue, which is just a light turquoise, Linen, and Pentart Light Brown. I'm adding some water to the paint. I want it to go on very lightly because the colors in the paper are light and look like watercolor paints. I'm dabbing on the blue paint with my brush and then mingling in some of the linen paint along with it. I'm going up onto the rice paper. If the colors aren't perfect, this will blend it in. I went back and forth with the colors until I was happy with the way it looked. I was actually really lucky that these colors straight out of the bottle matched so well. If they don't match, I add other colors until they match as close as possible. My crafty friend Mary Faith R. wanted to see a project with decoupage but no clay. Mary Faith, this video is for you. After I got the paint blended, I used the brown to add branches in the 2 bottom corners using this amazing detail brush. The bristles are a little longer than most small brushes, which makes it really easy to do striping. Now that matches again and looks great. Where are you all watching from, my crafty friends? Let me know in the comments. I just love to see what cities and countries all my friends are watching from. I'm filming from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. And then I let this dry for about 30 minutes. I'm using some brown ink and an ink blending brush to add some dimension to this piece. This is going to keep it from looking so flat. I'm inking the brush and then just catching the edges of the board. I'm going in a circular motion around the entire thing. Because you're watching this video today, decoupagenapkins.com is going to give you a 10% discount on one order that's a minimum of at least $50. This is a one-time discount and is good on your entire order when you use the code MASON10 in all caps at checkout. So now you can get that mold you've been eyeing or some additional rice papers you've been wanting. Even if you've been ordering from them in the past, you can still take advantage of this one-time 10% discount when using the code above. I'll leave all this information for you in my description box below. To find my description box, click on the word more just below the title of this video. I let the ink dry for a couple of hours and then added a coat of varnish to protect all the paint and ink. Now it's time to paint the two gates. I'll be painting both sides since it'll be possible to see both sides of each gate once I put this together. I'm using Pentart paint in the color Platinum. I'm applying it with a sponge dauber since it's a flat surface. It would be a challenge to paint this with a brush because of all those squirrels. The sponge is working fabulously. In most of my videos, you'll see me using a lot of different tools that make life so much easier. Things like a turquoise cup cradle to keep round objects from getting away, a Bodabra that makes bows in a snap, a water brush for separating rice paper and napkins, small art brushes for fine detail work, palette knives, and a rhinestone picker. If you're interested in checking out any of these items, you can find them listed in my description box below, in my favorite tools section. To find my description box, click on the word more just below the title of this video. And then I let this dry for about 30 minutes. I'm going to turn these platinum gates into distressed rusty old gates. I'm using paint in the color Georgia Clay and added it to a little paper cup. I'm adding Pentart 3D powder to make it gritty. I just keep adding it until I like the texture. You'll want to make it a thick paste consistency, but it'll have some grit to it. It's bright now, but it won't be when I'm done. I'm using a palette knife to spread it here and there. You don't want full coverage, make it spotty. I'll be adding this to both sides of both gates. If you follow me, you've seen me do this before. But if you're new to my channel, make sure to stick around because this is going to be really cool. DecoupageNapkins.com has an amazing selection of napkins, and the best part is that you can purchase them individually. They also carry a wide range of craft supplies, including rice paper, paints, clay, molds, and an excellent selection of polyvine products. With thousands of items available and new products being added regularly, it's truly a one-stop shop for crafters. Orders are carefully packed and shipped quickly. You'll earn special bonus points on orders over $100. Additional offers may vary and are often seasonal, so be sure to check their website for current deals. You'll find any promotions displayed in the banner at the top of their homepage. If you subscribe to their newsletter by entering your email address, you'll receive 10% off your next order. This discount is separate from the Mason 10 code and can be used on a separate purchase. I'll leave links to all the products I use in the description box below, along with more details on the current promotions. Please note that all offers are subject to change. To find my description box, click on the word more below the title of this video. And then I let this dry for about 30 minutes. I'm mixing the color Asphaltum with water to make it very runny. I don't want much coverage at all with this paint. I'm just using it to change the tone of that bright orange and the bright platinum. This is what's going to give me the rust color and make these gates look old, rusted, and distressed. If you can't find these exact colors of paint, just get any clay or terracotta color and any neutral dark brown. The asphaltum is kind of a grayish brown, which puts it in the neutral family. I'm making sure to brush this on all the edges, inside and around all the bars and scrolls. If you're enjoying this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. When you click the like button, a new hype button shows up. If you click that, you'll be able to send points to my channel. YouTube will then send this video out to more viewers. This is great for my channel. I appreciate you for doing that. You won't want to miss any of the new projects coming up, so don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to use Polyvine Heavy Duty Varnish in a dead flat finish. I don't want these to be shiny. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of glimmer as soon as this dries. And then I'll let that dry for about an hour. I'm going to add a little bit of that metal look back to the gates by adding a wax rub in the color Old Silver. I'm putting this mostly along all the edges and then a little here and there. This won't need to be sealed again. Waxes don't need a sealer and would normally be the last thing you add. I'm putting a small amount of the rub on my finger and rubbing it together with my thumb. Smearing it around like that prevents a large amount of your product ending up in one place. I added a little of the wax rub around the edges of the back plaque as well. I used some thin 24 gauge wire to attach the gates to the back board. I wrapped it around through the holes a few times and then twisted it together and clipped off the ends of the wire. I added a little hot glue to keep them in place. I'm attaching some stir sticks to the backs of my flowers. This will be a great handle while I'm working on them. It's only temporary, and when I'm finished, they come off easily. These flowers are so pretty already. But if you follow me, you already know that it's my nature to jazz things up. So here we go. I'm going to stiffen all the flowers by painting them with Polyvine Heavy Duty Varnish. First, I'm separating all the petals to fluff them out. Then I'll brush each petal with the varnish and stand them up in a cup to dry. This will make them stiff so they'll hold their shape, as well as make them shine. I'm going to need a shiny surface for the next step. I'll be adding some additional color to these beauties. Any of the products I use in my videos are great products that I personally believe in. I won't recommend anything that I don't like, so you can bet that each one is a great product. All the products I use will be listed in my description box below. Each one will have a blue link so they're easy for you to find. Any of the links I provide are safe for you to click on. To find my description box, click on the word More just below the title of this video. I let them dry for a couple hours and then added a second coat. And then I'll let that dry for about an hour. Okay, my friends, it's time to unleash Donna on these flowers. I put just a tiny bit of Pentart turquoise blue paint on a plate and sprayed it with some water to thin it out. This will not be full coverage at all. I want to see all the original colors of the flowers through the paint. I'm brushing the paint around the center of the flower and then spraying it with water. Actually, a lot of water, so the paint drips. I just keep spraying it with water until I'm happy with the way it looks. After I painted each flower, I stood it up in a plastic cup to dry. Next, I used Pentart in the color Mallow, Pentart Dark Blue, Summer Peach, and Eggplant. Because of the varnish, these paper flowers are sealed and stiff, so the paint is not being soaked up by the paper. Because of the way the watery paint drips off, they almost take on a marble appearance. If you've been using Polyvine products, you're going to notice that they've changed all the labels and some of the product names. The Heavy Duty Wood Varnish is now Heavy Duty Varnish, and the Heavy Duty Extreme Varnish is now Exterior Extreme Varnish. I hope you love and enjoy these products as much as I do. I let the paint dry for a couple hours and then painted on another coat of varnish to seal the paint and make them shine again. And then I'll let that dry for about an hour. Now, don't you think these flowers need a little glimmer? Yep, I do too. I'm using the same silver rub that I used on the gates. I'm just lightly rubbing it over the edges of the flowers, just literally catching the tips. I also put a little bit on anything that was in the center of the flowers. The silver catches the light and looks so pretty. And again, I'm rubbing my finger and thumb together so I don't get a huge amount of product in one area. And I'll let this dry for a couple hours. I'm all finished decorating these beautiful flowers, so it's time to remove all the stir sticks. They just pull off very easily. I grab the hardened hot glue with a pointy pair of scissors and they just come right off. Now it's time to glue all my flowers to the plaque. I'm not being strategic at all. I'm just laying them down randomly. I'm trying very hard not to make both sides look identical. Don't forget, all of the wonderful products I'm using today can be found at my favorite place for craft supplies, decoupagenapkins.com, and I'll leave you links in my description box below. I'm using the same asphaltum and water mixture that I used on the gates to add some shadows around all the flowers. This is going to add some depth and dimension. I love adding shadows. It makes things pop. I'm using that same mixture and a fan brush to add some splatters. Splatters always add such a vintage feel. I don't do it often, but I really love this look. This mixture is perfect because it's runny. For splatters to work well, the paint needs to be runny. Make sure you lay paper down around your work area and move anything that you'd be concerned about getting splattered. I'm just tapping my brush and that makes the paint splatter on my piece. You can add a lot or just a few. If you're not getting enough fling, tap the brush on your finger. The splatters really look good on the gates. It added to that old distressed look. I let the shadows and splatters dry for about 30 minutes, and then I added a final coat of varnish. I added the satin finish to the plaque portion and a light coat on the flowers. I added the dead flat finish to the gates and made sure not to get it on the flowers. And then I'll let that dry for about an hour. I've added a link to a video that I think you may enjoy. Click the picture on the right to be taken directly to that video. I'm so happy you were here with me today, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you all next week. I'm working on a new project with you in mind. You can subscribe by clicking my picture in the top right corner.